I hope you are sitting down and your pants are extremely comfortable, because this video is gonna be a doozy, for it contains the Nerf Grenade Mark II. That's right, the sequel, Nerf Grenade Mark II Timed Explosion BOOGALOO. And this is a very exciting thing I'm holding. It's pretty darn cool. As you can tell by the nifty little name, it does a whole lot of cool things, kind of upgraded from the original Nerf Grenade. In fact, all around this thing seems like a direct upgrade. It does do some things differently, and there are still credences to using the older ones, but this is packed with a lot of nifty things, and we should probably go over that, because the original Nerf Grenade video I did was extremely popular, and yes, that was a gel ball grenade, but really it was an anything grenade. It wasn't specifically marketed, I don't think, for any one purpose. And this thing is still an anything grenade. In fact, it's even more of anything grenade, because as you can see by the variety of knickknacks around, it will fire pretty much anything. In fact, if you want it to fire miniature Kamen Riders, it can totally do that, and then some, because it's just that awesome. It still says T238 on it, which I assume is the manufacturer at this point and not the designation of the actual toy. And this was sent to me by nfstrike.com, and I thank them profusely. They did send this product to me, but of course they do not pay me or anything like that. My opinions are still completely my own, and that's the entire reason for me doing this video, other than to show you a pretty cool and nifty thing. And, well, let's start with the direct things right up front. One, this works differently. The original Nerf Grenade exploded outwards and upwards, which meant if it landed like that, it was going to fling everything pretty much in front of it. So if it landed like this, and your person was over here, they were most likely completely safe. A lot of good that did. This works a little bit differently. For you see, if I pull the pin, and I just wait a second, we'll get to this function in just a little bit. Come on, there we go. It explodes outwards in this cool kind of lotus pattern shape. It's interesting to say the least. I'm not exactly sure why they chose this specific way to go about it, but it does work. In fact, it arguably works a little bit better, because now instead of everything only going in one direction, you've got everything going in two directions. And maybe 4, 5, 6, 360 if you're lucky, and we'll get to that. But a slight improvement, I would say. And as you probably noticed, it has a timed release mechanism, letting it function more like an actual grenade. And better yet, it is completely adjustable, for there's a little Allen key hole thread screw thing right there, and if you take an Allen key, not included by the way, I had to search through drawers and find one that specifically fit this, you can tighten it to increase the delay, or lessen it to, well, shorten the delay. Which means that not only could you throw this and potentially have a landmine that goes off pretty much randomly, because that is a thing this will do, but you can also airburst with it and rain down hell upon your opponents, which is, again, also a thing you could and probably should do, assuming that you're in a place with a safe environment for you to use such a device for it to be lobbed through the air, because that is a primary concern with something like this. I would recommend not using this unless everybody is wearing some kind of head protection, preferably a helmet of some type, possibly even goggles, but that should be a thing you should have on anyway. And after that, I don't really think it's going to hit all that hard, because it's relatively lightweight. But that's freaking cool. I wish it was like a thumb screw or something that you could easily tweak. Maybe it had clicky positions that would make it far easier for you to get a precise tuning on it. So I assume that's something that's going to pop up in the version 3 release. That's pretty much inevitable at this point. But man, already this thing is blowing away whatever the first one was. And it gets even better, because this thing has got much bigger cavities for lots more activities. Seriously. Everything you see here, and I would argue even Mega Darts, although you would have to cut them down or fold them up or some kind, would fit inside of this thing. Full-length darts, BOOMco darts, rival rounds, the official ammo of choice for something like this, Vortex Discs, short darts, even worker darts work perfectly fine, and if you want to go extremely hilarious, you can fit Nitro cars inside of it. Why? I don't know. But it's cool, and that is the most important thing. And it does have some changes to make loading a little bit less annoying, or more annoying if you're trying to break it like I do. but a lot more safe, I would say, because for this one, instead of having thin plastic latches and catches that did break on some of them, the version 2 grenade did fix that. It uses little lips in here. That's going to be difficult to see. You're going to have to deal with the monkey footage, but it's just a little tiny notch that's low profile, so there's not going to be a whole lot of leverage or stress on it, that catches the plate that's spring-loaded and helps keep the thing closed until, of course, the spring power is completely released. And then the tops and bottoms of the grenade actually moves over those to lock it in place even more so it won't prematurely detonate, which is something that we had a problem with the last one. But then it gets a little bit better because then you can twist this grenade after pulling it up a little bit and it will lock the bottom, which will hold the bottoms in place. And now you have this big open space right here to put in your ammo of choice. So if you want to put in some BOOMco darts, and this is kind of one of those less is more kind of things. It's going to take a while for people to kind of figure out what the optimal loadouts for this is going to be. I don't have enough time to test every single possible configuration of every ammo type, but it kind of made sense that if you put too much in there, the things won't spread out that much, but if you don't put enough in there, you don't have enough projectiles to make it worth using anyway. But while this is not optimal for these full-length darts, you can fit like 12 BOOMco rounds, no, maybe not 12, more like 9 in every single hold of this thing. It's dumb. It's actually really cool. I'm having a little bit of trouble because, again, it's not meant to be loaded like this with full-length darts. And there we go. So that was what, 6? Yeah, 6 fits in there pretty comfortably, but you can fit a lot more. So there's BOOMco darts, full-length BOOMco darts, but you can also use full-length Nerf darts of pretty much any. You want to use AccuFakes, you want to use waffle tips, whatever you fancy, they'll fit in there. And again, it can hold a surprising amount of darts in it. It's actually really cool. So there's 3 right there, and it's starting to get a little tight just because it's hard to get the actual, come on, I can't put them in the optimal places, but I put 5 per cylinder in the test footage, and it worked out pretty darn well, I would say. I was surprised how well it works. Is it, again, the optimal thing? No, but and if you don't have another option, it's a cool thing to do. But it gets even better because, of course, you can also effortlessly shove in rival rounds, half-length darts, or if you want to do it the good old-fashioned way, you can, of course, release that little thing, you can open that up, but just keep it slightly pressured down so it doesn't just fling open, and shove in something like Vortex Discs. This is a little bit more difficult, but it will fit 2. Yeah, like I said, a little bit more difficult. Let's try that again. But you can fit 2 in the bottom and 2 in the top, which means you can have 4 Vortex Discs per side, which means 12 Vortex Discs. And it is a little bit tight at this point, but since it doesn't use any kind of spring-loaded catch, it doesn't exactly matter, now does it? Just makes your grenade bulge a little bit more. And then when you're done, you're just gonna grip that tightly. You're gonna make sure it's on the thing where the teeth are over the hinges. You're gonna push that down, and then you're gonna crimp down on that grip right there, and affix it with your pin, like so. And now your grenade is armed. And now, theoretically, all you have to do to make this thing work, and I should be able to demonstrate this on camera, is pull the pin and let go of the handle, which means the handle actually does something in this version. And this is probably going to suck. It's probably going to suck. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you optimally get this to where it lands like that and it explodes outwards, it's going to give you the best possible chance to hose everything down. But if it does land like that, usually what's going to happen is you're going to get a spray out each side, and then you're gonna have a bunch of rounds right there. Not the best, and I'm sure that's something that could be dealt with a little more tuning in the actual design, but that is to say it's still a little bit easier to hit things like that than it is to hopefully hit things when this lands and explodes like that. So, is it worth complaining about? Not really. And I would argue if you were using these in a game, I think if it landed anywhere near you, it would just be safe to call yourself out anyway, because, well, you can't always hit something with these. You probably can, but I know I've tried and I have not yet to hit any target with them whatsoever, and dozens of other people have tried and few have found success. But, that is to say, maybe they weren't trying to fling nitro cars at people. maybe this is just the best Nitro car flinger there possibly is. But overall, I think this is a much better improved version of the grenade. I'm very happy with it, and I can't really fault it for a lot of things other than I think they're just about ready to get the perfect setup for these. This grenade does feel a little bit thinner and more breakable than the original. It's got kind of like thin plastic and stuff on it, and I would assume if this thing hit concrete one too many times, you're probably going to chip bits off of it and maybe even eventually break it. Like these parts right here that close down and hold those tabs closed, I'm expecting those are gonna probably break at some point, but I would assume this has been tested to deal with that. So I'm not going to take mine outside and break it because I happen to like this and I only have the one, but I'm gonna say it's probably a safe bet that you probably shouldn't use it on concrete or other extremely hard surfaces, and obviously not in the house because that would just be completely irresponsible. But out here in the garage or of course out in the field, very, very fun as long as you're in, again, the proper environment for it. It does kind of irk me that this delay mechanism isn't flawless. It kind of depends on what you have shoved in each one of these things, and if the handle is face down and it's gone too high of a delay, as in it's too tight, it won't explode at all. Again, I'm gonna call it a Nerf grenade because I shoot Nerf out of it, but it's pretty much an anything grenade. Heck, I can fit camera batteries in here if I wanted to. It don't matter, it don't care, it's still going to explode all the same. Let me know what you think about the grenade down in the comment section below, and also, of course, if you have found the optimal setup for this thing, I would love to have that information available to not only myself, but a lot of other people. And keep in mind, you don't have to use just Rival, just BOOMco, just Nitro cars. You can have them all inside in varying quantities, either in separate compartments or just a star mix of everything all together. It don't matter. It is awesome. I'm going to stop talking because I'm kind of rambling now, but this has been Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.
You gotta